What is going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rage, back with another Outriders Worldslayer video to bring to you, and today we're actually going to be looking and discussing a couple of new status effects, well, kind of, in the same kind of category anyway, as to what our limited playtime when it came to Worldslayer actually brought us, and we weren't given any kind of information to be able to look out for this or anything like that. It's only when I went back into some of the footage I actually started noticing this kind of thing, so it kind of leads me to think that maybe this isn't just all that we're going to be getting. So I've only got 2 so far, so it'll be interesting to see what else we're going to be expecting. Before we get any further into the video, please make sure you drop a like and a subscribe. It really does help the channel out massively, and stay here for every single one of those Worldslayer news kind of videos, because we will be bringing so much of this to the channel. It's really going to be exceptional. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first one happens within like the first few minutes of me actually booting up Worldslayer in terms of the main story gameplay anyway, and what you see is we actually face a big beast. What this actually does is, and it's very subtle because I did not notice this whatsoever at the time, I genuinely thought this was just like a, well, I didn't need to activate my skills or anything because the fight was over, but it looks like we have some kind of form of silence when it comes to activating our skills. So what this could potentially mean is that when it comes to the end game, we're actually going to start seeing a way to actually get ourselves locked down. Obviously, most of our builds when it comes to it primarily rely on being able to trigger additional bonuses, additional effects. Like for example, Top Tree Technomancer relies on being able to chuck out the Blighted Turret to be able to refresh their 40% damage boost. Obviously, Devastators pretty much solely rely around their skills, so it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of works for them, unless they've got some way to be able to counter that. Pyros especially, they're able to, they use their skills quite frequently as well to be able to obviously debuff and be able to apply fire to be able to then heal themselves. And Tricksters will obviously be shut down in terms of they can't move, they can't, well, they can move, but obviously they won't be able to have their teleport, they won't be able to put enemies in the air or anything like that. It's going to shut down so many things, and it really does interest me because we haven't faced anything like this so far when it comes to Outriders, so it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of works or plays into the endgame or plays into the story of Worldslayer. Is there actually going to be fights where we're actually going to have no skills whatsoever? We're going to have to purely rely on the guns that we have, similar to how obviously that kind of firefights that we used to have when it came to story-wise in Outriders, you kind of miss what those were, especially when you start grinding towards trying to get those higher DPS numbers, especially when it came to the expeditions. So it might be taking us back to basics in that kind of sense. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works, and I for one am definitely excited to see who's going to be able to inflict this silence, what it's going to mean for our characters, and how we're going to be able to benefit or potentially get hindered by it. Now the second one is one that I didn't actually get to face, and that's because we didn't have enough PAX points to be able to go further into the tree, but because I was playing as a Technomancer when I actually did my research for the PAX points, we noticed that there was one called Overheal. Now Overheal we haven't seen before because purely it was a case of with the healing mechanics you're able to get so far into your health bar, and then that's pretty much it. That's you done, no more healing or anything like that, and you can only just keep topping yourself back up to full. So what I'm kind of curious about when it comes to Overheal is how much of an Overheal are we actually going to be able to expect? Is there a soft cap in the background? Is this something that we're actually going to know about? Is it like a flat 25%, for example? So to see what kind of numbers we can actually push out to that. Can we actually make some characters genuine tanks and be able to have so much HP that they're just not going to be able to go down? Can we actually do this for a Technomancer is going to be the interesting question, but what can we actually do with this Overheal? Is it just the Technomancer with their pack tree that's able to benefit from it? I know that the capstone is able to use that and be able to convert it into additional bonuses for that teammate that actually does have the Overheal. So is there anyone else that's going to be able to benefit from it? Are we going to see any more tier 1, tier 2, or maybe even tier 3 mods that are able to actually benefit from that as well? Now, to be fair, these are the only 2 that I've specifically seen, but when it came to actually going through the game, in terms of reading through some of the other pack trees when it came to it, I noticed there was one for the Technomancer where it said I was able to remove up to 5 statuses, and if this is around a turret kind of base skill, but obviously there's only so many statuses currently in the game at this moment in time, and most of the time we don't actually see 5 get applied at the exact same time. You rarely see anything go over 3 or 4, just purely based on the elites. elites are able to inflict like bleed, maybe vulnerable, maybe even freeze if they've got their freezing bullets as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how the elites are actually going to like play a role into this. Are we actually regularly going to see 5 or more statuses applied to our characters? And if so, does that mean we're actually going to see a couple more coming our way? Now, obviously, I've only seen a silence and I've only seen an overheal because I was playing as a technomancer. Is there actually others that are related to the other packs trees? Well, that's something that's definitely going to be playing on my mind. And what else can we potentially expect? Now, I'm curious, what would your ideas be down in the comment section down below? What would you suggest for another status that we actually haven't seen already? Obviously, we've had weakness and vulnerable to be able to apply attack decreases and defense decreases. Obviously, we've seen some kind of like damage over time statuses as well. And now we've started to see silence come into play, and we've got overheals. So what else would you suggest that actually Outriders might actually start playing around with? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's have a quick discussion about it. That just wraps up the rest of the video. That's just everything that we currently have so far. But hopefully that sparks a little bit of interest to be able to let's have a bit of a talk about what we potentially could see in the near future. Massive thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, as always. It really does mean the world to us. Thank you so much to the Babylonian family, as always, for their continued support. And that just leaves me to say, keep yourself safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on our next video.